2016, a year in review. First, let's start with every single gun I bought this year. Not in order of purchase, but order of this list I made, because I have to stick to a script so this isn't a 4-hour long video. My HK MR762, my HK MR556, HK 45 Tactical in OD Green, a Generation 4 Glock 19, an HK USP Compact 9mm, a Beretta 92 FS Centurion, a HK USP 9mm SD, and a VP9, totaling 8 guns purchased, for a total purchase price of this. I can't bring myself to say it. Also, I purchased a safe for $1,000, the Vortex Viper PST 1-4 with the mount for $600 total. I know that sounds a little ridiculous to some people, but they don't understand that American Defense mount is pretty expensive. I bought my Haley Strategic D3 chest rig from another YouTuber, and then everything else was support items for those existing guns. Largest projects I undertook this year were the Beretta, my AR lower that you see in front of you, USP 9 SD, and the Glock 19. Of all those projects, which ones did I sell? I sold the Glock 19 because reasons, and I sold the USP Compact 9mm because I wanted the USP 9 SD more. So that's why. USP 9 Compact was pretty much going to be a safe queen when I was honest with myself one evening, so I quickly sold it. I may grow to regret that, but in all honesty, it was in such good shape and all that other stuff, I'd rather someone else buy it and enjoy it than me just have it in the back of the safe like the guy before me. Now, I took a hit on the USP 9 Compact by about $100 selling it, and I took a much smaller hit on the Glock 19. I paid $400 for it, and I got $350 back for it, so I took a $50 hit on that one, so it wasn't too bad. Things I learned this year. First, AR-15s are very, very easy to wrench on and build. They're very rewarding to do so, and this particular lower is complete. I can put any complete upper on it and run it. I also really like the UBR stock, both for the ease and simplicity of installation and how solid and everything it really is. Don't be surprised if most of my builds in the future include this buttstock. Yes, I know it's very expensive and very heavy, but it works. I've also convinced my buddy who's getting the copy of this rifle that I'm building side by side to go with a Magpul UBR stock. I also learned that some things are as good as they appear. The D3 chest rig is a solid setup. I haven't taken it through classes or war. Please understand that. But the few range sessions I've taken it to, and then the dry practice I do in the house, every so often, it works great. The only thing I'm going to work on is securing the loose straps. Once you adjust them, they're kind of just loose. I'm going to probably paracord a slider on here to keep them tame so it's not bouncing around all over the place. I also learned that sometimes one of the worst looking guns can be one of the most rewarding. This handgun I purchased from a friend. It was very dry and kind of dirty. I cleaned it up real nice and put just over $100 into it so far. Much to my surprise, it's a very rewarding pistol to shoot. I am very happy with how this project's turned out so far, and I can't wait to see it to the end. It is a wonderful shooting handgun and has blown me away. Very happy that I made the decision, even against the advice of some of my friends, to buy this gun. I also learned that the 30-round magazine is a nice thing to have occasionally. You'll see more developing with this magazine and more copies of it in the future. I also found out that the VP9 is still one of my favorite handguns to date, and most certainly my favorite 9mm pistol as of the end of 2016. Not to mention my carry gun of choice. I also learned that sometimes you talk yourself out of getting something, and then later a perfect sample that you talked yourself out of that you didn't need presents itself. And sometimes you win and stick to your guns, and sometimes you lose and buy it. One of the funniest lessons from this is I had 4 jet funnel magazines already and a jet funnel kit already, and I sold it trying to convince myself not to buy this handgun. I went back to Cabela's on a completely unrelated run to get ammo, as a few of you who watch my videos know, and I ended up with this. What I do? Buy a jet funnel kit, jet funnel mags, there's a match trigger on the way, and I'm waiting for the same guy who sold me the match trigger to get HDs in stock for it. And for the record, for a few of you, I wanted the HDs first. It's just they're not in stock right now. I can go get them somewhere else, but I tend to do business with people that treat me well and try to stay as loyal as possible to them. I also learned that as much as I love the USP-45 and everything about it, that the USP-9 itself and the USP-9 SD is a wonderful complement to the full-size 45. It's a physically smaller handgun, and you'll see that in the review coming up once I get it done, but it holds its own very well, and I think my final form of this handgun will be the standard to compare to the 45 counterparts. So when this thing's done, we'll possibly see a comparison video and me explaining my setup. I also learned, which you're probably getting sick of hearing at this point, that sometimes the hunt for the unicorn is the most fun. I will never ever forget how long it took me to find this gun, how many places I went, how many that I looked at, and how I found this one in particular. And how sometimes the gun finds you. And patience really pays off. Which is kind of the moral to this whole year. I spent a ridiculous amount of money on guns for 2 reasons. 1, availability, and 2, fear. That's right. I was pretty sure the presidential election was going to go a completely different way. And it didn't. And now I get to relax a little bit. But the availability made it easy for me to find these things, and the fear forced me to buy them at a much quicker pace. You'll notice that even though I purchased 8 guns, sold 2 of them, that the total price I paid is substantial. Now I got quality firearms for that price, but I was more patient than I could have been. There were a lot of offers for me to plunge deep into debt, getting everything I wanted, and instead I metered my expectations and really selected a core group of firearms that I would like to own, and that really allowed me to not do too many stupid things. I definitely did some dumb things, and to be honest, the 2 guns I sold I could have completely done without. And one of my friends was telling me, those guns around the same time, and he was telling me, hey man, I know you want that MR762 a whole lot more than you want a Glock 19, a USPC 9mm, and even the Beretta. Luckily the Beretta is a sweetheart, and it was so cheap that I can justify it. The Glock was honestly cheap, but I was sick of messing with the extractor. And the USP 9mm was, it's not one of those drunken buys, but it was one of those, ooh, I got my taxes back, let me see what I can get. And the deal was so good that I couldn't pass it up, but I didn't need any of it in the first place. It's funny because, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, I'm saying it in a positive way, so my buddy will figure it out, but I don't want you guys to think that I'm talking shit about my friend here. That USP Compact I bought had 4 13-round magazines and an immaculate M2 UTL. And my buddy has a shitload of USP 45s. He has a lot of USP 45s and no UTL. He's got the adapters and other lights and all that other stuff, but he never got a UTL and he was never going to get one. And I said, you should probably get at least one. So I bought it for him. I gave it to him. He tried to pay me for it several times, and I gave it to him. He's given me stuff too, so don't, we take care of each other. We're good friends. But that whole deal, I could have just said, hey, just the UTL. So another thing that I learned is, just because you can doesn't mean you should. This gun right here was something I knew I wanted, and I placed a very, very high value on owning it. When I shoot it, I get a lot of return on it, both in accuracy, confidence, capability, and fun factor. So what this provides me is a full spectrum of appreciation for what it can do, what it's capable of doing, and what it does for me. Whereas the other guns that I bought were more out of, gee, I'd like to have that. Not, I really, 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 really want that. It's very high on my list, and I will fulfill quite a few things by buying it, like the MR556 and the MR762. Both of those guns were equally important to me, and I got both of them. I even promised everyone in 2013 that I would get an MR762 one day, and lo and behold, I have one. I also bought $500 worth of magazines this year for the MR762 that I had just ordered out of fear. They're still there. The person I bought them from still has quite a few in stock. And I'm not upset that I bought them, but the way that I bought them was not the smartest, and I could have used that money elsewhere for other things. So, am I upset that I bought them? Kinda, but am I going to use them? Yes. And do I have 22 magazines for a rifle that I plan on getting pretty heavily invested into? Yes. You got to remember, it's very, very easy with guns especially, and Peter's made a point on the Noir radio show recently that he's not really met too many gun guys that aren't also car guys and watch guys. Luckily, I'm very, very minimalistic with my watches, but I have 2 cars that I'm going to be working on and have worked on and continue to work on, and I have a lot of firearms. So it's really, really easy to screw up your priorities and spend a lot of money on a lot of different things. And a lot of you like to point out that I'm not married, and I'm not. It's not for lack of trying. I was pretty close once, but it just didn't work out. And all the other ones I've met in between have been miss right now, not miss right. And for a Navy guy, that's not necessarily a bad thing because I move every 2 or 3 years. So, can I do things that other people can't do with my money? Yes. If I overspend, can I eat SpaghettiOs for a week? Yes. No one else is counting on me. I've got 2 friggin' cats. That's it. What it really comes down to is not just buying things to fill a void in your life or buying things just to satisfy an itch. It's about buying things that add value to your life, like substantial value to your life, whether it's capability for self-defense or that match rifle you really like or the 3-gun setup that you really want or the supercharger for your car or the bulletproofing for your diesel truck or that really, really nice G-Shock or Omega watch. All that stuff is important. And realizing freedom is a beautiful thing. And a lot of people will sink themselves super deep trying to get on everybody else's level. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to lie and tell you that I haven't done that somewhat myself, especially this year. And I've realized it and told everybody. But you really have to meter these things. And sometimes it's better to do it the right way, like this gun right here, than to jump on anything that comes your way just because it's there. And with that mentality and that lesson that I've learned this year, I'm going to carry that moving forward. Everything I add is going to have value, and not just immediate value, and not just satisfying a short-term fix, but it's going to be something that I'm going to want to have forever and never part with, and I'm only going to buy things like that. So I'm not going to buy frivolous vehicles. I'm not going to buy just whatever gun I see, and everything I buy is going to have a purpose. I'm also going to dial down those projects after a little while because I don't need so many. So some of you get my humor, and a lot of you probably watch these things, but on my downtime, the things that have gotten me through this year, waiting for gun parts, or being a recluse because of my job requirements, or whatever, I actually got rid of my cable to save money, and it cut my bill down $50 a month. So I just have internet, and I upgraded the speed of my internet, and all I have is Netflix and Hulu. I watch a lot of Archer, Boys, all of the Marvel series, Dark Matter. You guys got to get on Dark Matter. If any of you like sci-fi, Dark Matter is pretty good, I got to be honest. And then, Hulu I use sparingly so I can catch up on stuff a little quicker, like South Park. And I actually found Rick and Morty on Hulu, which I liked quite a bit. Am I a happier person after 2016? Yes. Am I the happiest person I can be? No, not at all. But after dealing with an injury and the treatment for that injury and the challenges of life, and honestly filling that void with buying stuff I don't need and stuff I did need and would like to have, I can tell you that what I've learned is a lesson I conveyed earlier. Make sure whatever you add to your life, whether it's a person, animals, inanimate objects, vehicles, anything that you purchase in your life moving forward, make sure it adds value. The reason I got rid of my cable is because I worked so damn much, I wasn't home to watch it. I had Netflix because somebody wanted me to get on some Netflix shows, like Peaky Blinders and stuff, which I love, great show. And once I realized that I'd come home and watch Netflix and go to sleep after the gym, then I didn't need cable anymore. Is there stuff I miss? Yeah, I miss the History Channel and Discovery Channel and all the learning that I did there. And I miss football and basketball and stuff like that. But honestly, I can go somewhere and watch it. So this year's turned me into a smarter adult. And I've really learned the value of ensuring that the things that you add to your life give you something. So click on this to get super deep with me here. But if I just went through like buy and look at all the shit I got, and because I have all this shit, because that's not how I am as a person, but I'm showing you these expensive rifles that I bought and all this other stuff, and if I didn't convey to you what I also learned in the process, then I'd be doing you a disservice. So just figured I'd share. So this is 2016. It's been a great year. We've won a lot of excellent political victories. We've averted crisis. And I think moving forward, we're going to see a lot of wonderful things. And you're going to see a lot of wonderful things out of me. I'm going to continue to buy firearms. I'm going to continue to modify my cars. And I'm going to continue to try to get myself back in the shape I was in Greece, now that I'm better, and grow as a person and just be the best person I can be. Stupid New Year's resolution that most people give up in the first 2 months. This is a life direction. So thanks for watching. Take care. Take care of each other. Stay safe. I'll see you in the new year. And support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America.